So this is the start of a new episode. I'm recording this right after I finish the last episode, just so that I have time to watch this. All right, episode 4, Turnabout Storyteller. I need to see the intro to this. So we're back in quote-unquote America, are we? No, this is... I mean, maybe.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What time is it? It's 9, 10, 11.
Okay. Oh my gosh! She shows dead? No. Do you think he did it? Oh no. If he did, then what do we do? Hey, pull yourself together. Don't worry, I have an idea. May 13, 9:45 a.m. We're starting at a courtroom in case 4? What the heck? Interesting. All right, I'm gonna save that there. And now the next thing you'll see. Oh, we're playing as Athena right now. The next thing you'll see will be the rest of the video. I'm just not doing it. I'm not recording it right now, so you'll see a future me now. Okay, we are back. It's the same day as the clip you just saw. But it's late at night, and I wasn't planning to play tonight, but my internet has gone into maintenance, so this is sort of the perfect time for me to play. Now, I don't have a voice for Athena. Wonder what I'm gonna do. What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? Hang on, let me just work on it for a bit. Hold on. All right, okay. I think I'm just gonna make it punchy. What the heck? Who brings the defendant to his own trial late? Plus, the request was so last minute, I didn't even have a chance to talk with my client. He's late for a very important date. My name is Athena Sykes. Oh yeah, this is the first time she's been in this game, huh? Armed with an analytical psychology and a full arsenal of legal know-how, I'm a fully competent defender of the Right Anything Agency. Although I wish my client would show up already, the trial's about to start. Heh, it appears we made it just in time. Where have you been? The trial's about to start, Simon. Simon Blackwell is our client? You needn't get so worked up, Athena. His boldness can wait. There's no way he'd wait for me. And besides, why would I want to start off on the wrong foot with him right out of the gate? Dealing with such matters is part of being a lawyer, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, covering for your lateness is not. Still but a rank amateur, I see. This is Simon Blackwell. He might not look it, but he's actually a prosecutor and a psychology specialist. He and I go way back. As for our shared specialization in psychology, we're both disciples of the same person, so to speak, but he's kinda my senior, I guess. But twisted sense of humor or no, I wish he'd stop treating me like a child all the time. So, we're a right dono and justice dono. Mr. Wright is abroad, and Apollo's helping Trucy with her magic show. Didn't I tell you? There. What? So neither one of them are here? Leaving you to take this on alone? Yep. Ye gods. Go right dono back. It's not too late. Oh no, not too late at all. He would only need to know how to teleport. Very well. Then I will settle for justice, Dono. Go grab him here by the horns. Go up and grab him by the horns and drag him here. Apollo is literally in the middle of a show, Simon. You may not want to admit it, but I've got what it takes to take on this case. Just leave this to me and go watch from the gallery. Has your defense derails in spectacular fashion? No, as I win the heck out of this trial. I'll be okay. Promise. So wipe that look off your face already, will ya? Anyway, I take it the guy behind you is...
Yes, he's your...
Oh.
He's asleep again. Oi, Bucky, wake up.
Oh, so Blackwell is not the client. Yeah. Ow. What'd you do that for, Sammy? Oh my goodness.
Who's this yellow chickadee?
She is your lawyer, such as it were. I'd say she's more green than yellow, however.
Lawyer? She sure doesn't look like it, does she? Is she like your fellow apprentice or something?
Something like that. I've known her longer than I've known you. You could say we're bound to one another.
Oh, okay. Well then, guess I better call her Miss Chickadee then. Oh! Oh!
Simon, this guy's not only rude, but he's 3 sheets to the wind at his own trial. Just grabbing myself a jacket. I know we just met, but I'm about ready to give him a piece of my mind.
Do as you will. Just save it for after the trial.
Miss Chickadee,
Don't call me that.
how do you do? Simon here is an old friend of mine. I'm the 4th generation head chef of Wet Soba.
I just realized I might have, I got text skip on. I don't want that. Even though it is kind of nice having the text be quick, it's also dangerous.
Wet new number 4. Bucky Wet. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Mr. Wet. So he can pull himself together when he wants to. Gah, if only the trial wasn't starting in a few minutes.
Having been accused of a murder that only occurred yesterday, I'm afraid it's taken a toll on the poor boy.
And you happened to be there at the theater when it all happened too, right? They said they found a Rakugo storyteller murdered in his own dressing room.
Indeed. The victim, master storyteller Typhoon Tornado, was a long-time partner of Wet Soba.
Typhoon Tornado. Oh, is it like Typhoon Tornado? Okay, alright.
Master Tornado has been looking after Bucky ever since Wet Noodle number 3 passed away.
I see. So the victim was kind of like a father to the defendant, huh?
That stupid old fart. Like a father. No way. He was always dishing my soba.
How dare you speak ill of him? Running your mouth like that is why they suspected you of his murder in the first place. Now, pull yourself together. Number 3 must be rolling in his grave.
But, Simon, the police, none of them believes me. They won't listen to me.
It looks like he's still in shock from the whole ordeal. Don't worry, Mr. Wet. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm going to defend you with everything I've got. You're in good hands now.
You mean you believe me, madam?
Of course. No matter what, I'll believe in you to the very end.
Gee whiz, Miss Chickadee.
Now come on. I need you to shape up. Just like al dente noodles are yours. Just like those al dente noodles are yours.
Yes, ma'am. My soba's the freshest.
Oh no. Okay. Mr. Wet!
Bucky, you great big pillock.
So, how exactly do you know this guy?
I used to frequent Wet Soba, and still do in fact, so I've known him since he was a lad. That's why his father and Master Tornado were always so good to me.
I didn't know you liked soba so much, Simon.
I wouldn't expect one such as you, who eats meat slapped between slabs of bread, to understand the delicate tastes and subtle textures imparted by buckwheat flour.
Hey, that's just rude.
But I digress.
I'm all about flavor and subtlety and stuff.
If I let wet sober end like this, I'll never be able to face number 3 or Master Tornado in the next life.
Ah, I see. And that's why you came to me. You wanted someone you could trust.
It was never my intention to ask you.
I'll show him. I'll show him I can handle it just fine.
Well, I believe it's just about time.
What? But we haven't even properly discussed the case yet.
What's the matter? You look nervous, Athena.
I sort of just realized how kind of cool it is that the Ace Attorney series branched out so much, where Ace Attorneys 1, 2, and 3, just Phoenix. You're just playing as Phoenix. And then Apollo Justice comes out and they branch out into, oh, you might be able to play as Apollo. So sometimes you'll play as Apollo, sometimes, you know, you might play as Apollo for a while. And it looks like Apollo is now the guy. He's now the main character. And then Phoenix Wright comes back. And also Miles Edgeworth gets his own spin-off, so he plays Miles Edgeworth. And then in Dual Destinies, it's like, oh, but you can play as Apollo or Phoenix. And in this game, it's like, sometimes you're playing as Phoenix, sometimes you're playing as Apollo, sometimes you're playing as Athena. Like, all of them have different mechanics. I forgot. Oh yeah, no, what's his name? Apollo's got his bracelet. Phoenix has got the Magatama, and she's got her emotion sensor. And then there's also now Rafe has got the ritual, the ceremony. There's so many mechanics. There's so many mechanics. It's almost like Spirit of Justice is just like when they're just like, all right, well, let's just put all of our mechanics into a big awesome thing. And I love it. It's great. It's really good. Good stuff. I also really like to Dual Destinies, even though a lot of people find that to be one of the weaker Phoenix Wrights, and maybe it is. But I don't know. I really liked the twist at the end of it.
What's the matter? You look nervous, Athena. Don't tell me you're chickadeeing out.
I'm just trembling with the excitement of battle, that's all. Off guts! Let's do this! Come on, Mr. Wet. Get up off the floor. We've got a case to win.
Yes, Miss Chickadee. I'm gonna do my best.
Wet soba, wet soba, wet soba, wet soba, wet soba.
Yellow. 2 bowls noodles. Sorry, sir. No can do. Kinda busy at the courthouse. They hung up.
Well, that's gonna be happening a lot.
Okay, let's do this.
He's not gonna do himself or his case any favors like this, Simon. Maybe we should let him go get some rest somewhere.
Let me rest? Maybe if I were to lump regular flour dough for a noodle noodles. But I'm fresh, like my soba. And you don't let soba dough rest. It's all about the 3 freshes. Grind that buckwheat seeds fresh. Cut the dough fresh and boil the noodle.
There he goes.
He's blacked out.
Oh boy, I just knew something like this would happen. Simon, what are these 3 freshes of soba he was talking about?
First, buckwheat seeds are ground to make buckwheat flour. Then dough made with this flour is cut with a large rectangular knife into noodles. And finally, the buckwheat noodles are boiled. Each step is done immediately, one after the other, so that the soba is fresh when eaten.
Oh, so that's what he meant. I wouldn't want him to make me any soba right now, though, that's for sure.
Oh, Athena, this is no time for idle chatter. You need to get into the courtroom now. Just remember, as a prosecutor, I will be unable to lend you a hand. Just so don't expect any help from my quarter.
There you go, treating me like I'm incompetent again. Wait, so is he the prosecutor of the case? He said as a prosecutor, not as the prosecutor, so... Because that would be weird. It's probably Sad Marty, right? For your information, I wasn't planning on asking you for help anyway. Grr, just you wait, Simon. I'll show you. Although, is this taking place at the same time as Phoenix's last case? Because if so, Sad Marty can't be there, but... Nah, it's probably going to be Sad Marty. They normally keep the same prosecutor for the entire game. Mr. Wright and Apollo may not be here, but that's alright. I can do this on my own. Here we go. May 13, 9:50 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Court is now in session. That's Sad Marty, alright? I see him.
Court is now in session for the trial of Bucky Wet.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is fully prepared, Your Honor.
What's this? No prayer this time, Prosecutor Sad Marty?
That is correct, Your Honor. To expedite these proceedings, I completed them beforehand in the lobby.
How very thoughtful of you. By the way, what brings you back to this country?
Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth himself called on me to handle this case.
What?
Besides, I have a debt to repay, and though my opponent is yet a callow thing, I have no qualms with sending her down to hell.
If you have a score to settle, it's with Apollo, not me. But more importantly, I am not a callow thing. I am a qualified and capable attorney.
Then what is that yellow attire, if not proof of your immaturity, you small spring chick? Now, cease your shrill chirping.
Now, Prosecutor Sad Marty. She is still only a teenager. Please go easy on her.
Is she? I'm guessing she's 17? It doesn't say, because she's not in the... Alright. Great. Now even the judge is giving me the kid treatment.
Very well. Shall we begin, Your Honor?
Yes, I suppose we should. Now then, Prosecutor Sad Marty, please give your opening statement.
I'll show them what I can do. They'll be sorry they underestimated me.
Certainly. Let the last rites of the victim commence.
The incident is believed to have occurred at around 4 p.m. yesterday, May 12th, at a storyteller's theatre called Kurukuru Te.
The victim was a great master of the Tornado School of Rakugo, or comedic storytelling.
His name was Taifu Tornado.
The scene of the murder was the theatre's dressing room. It is accessible via the staff entrance hallway and has an inner and outer sliding door.
Man, so this case, we're going from scratch on this case. No investigation, no real build-up outside of the meeting the client. Like, this is interesting for a 4th case, for them to just be like, all right, here it is. You're in trial, go for it.
The estimated time of death is between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. The cause of death is suffocation, though how the victim suffocated is yet to be determined. The autopsy found nothing unusual in his lungs or stomach, and there is no murder weapon.
Okay.
I will now submit the incident report to the court.
This is interesting, because this doesn't look like a particularly... I mean, everything about this case just feels simple and basic. Not just the case itself, but the setting. As I said, they put us right into the trial. Like, this feels like a first trial kind of thing. Like a first case of the game kind of thing. But this is episode 4. So it's going to be bigger than that. I wonder if there's going to be like, we're going to solve this first murder or whatever. But then there's going to be something bigger. Like our client now is going to die. That's my guess. Taifu's autopsy report added to the court record. Prosecutor Sad Marty, How can you name Mr. Wet as a culprit when you don't know how the victim was killed, or even with what?
While it is true that the weapon and precise method are, as yet, unknown, the accused is the only one who had the opportunity to commit the murder. I will explain this assertion in further detail as we continue.
I guess this means he has some kind of evidence to present.
Now, would the accused care to plead his case?
Come to think of it, where is the defendant, Miss Sykes?
Sorry, Your Honor, but I'm afraid Mr. Wet isn't feeling very well and is resting in the infirmary.
Surely it is a lack of a clear conscience that impedes him from facing this court.
Great. Starting off on the wrong foot already.
Mr. Wet is the head chef of the sober shop frequented by the victim. On the day of the incident, Mr. Wet went to the theater at the victim's request. Typhoon Tornado was a connoisseur of soba, as you can see in these photographs. He was apparently making soba himself in the dressing room that very day. The soba found at the scene is likely the soba he himself made there.
Liking soba is one thing, but making it in a theater dressing room is a bit much, non?
Master Tornado truly had a passion for soba, didn't he? For a man like that to be murdered by a soba chef is simply unthinkable.
And yet, the accused had ample motive, for in the victim's safe, we discovered the deed to the accused's shop. Mr. Wet was to inherit Wet Soba when he lost his father recently. However, it's believed the victim stole the shop's deed during the transfer process. The prosecution believes the accused killed the victim in order to get the deed back.
A murder over the deed to a shop. That does sound like a plausible motive.
So that's what this case is about. I wish Simon had filled me in a little better. I could have contributed more than just 1,000 buckets of cold sweat if he had.
Defense. From your demeanor, I gather you know very little about the details of this case.
Well, you see... Satura!
You are dishonoring the soul of the victim by appearing in the courtroom unprepared. You are an embarrassment to your profession, you putrid egg yolk, is what the game says.
And it's on my phone, but it's not on the screen anymore. Hold on. Let's give that a quick little refresh. I'll pause it. I'll pause it. Okay. I just realized that my thing was paused.
So, I don't know how much it cut out. To summarize, we've got Blackwell on the stand, and he's testifying right now, and I've only pressed the first statement so far. There's not much I can do to go back. Anyway.
The first to perform was the senior disciple, Gedu, followed by Uendo, and lastly, Master Tornado.
Invitation added to the court record. So, in the invitation Simon received from Master Tornado to the show commemorating Uendo's name, succession, and promotion. Nice. So, yeah, cool. I see. So that's why you happened to be at the Storytellers Theatre yesterday. So what happened after you arrived?
I went straight to Master Tornado's dressing room to say hello.
Alright, so. Let me just look at this stuff again. Inside the envelope was a ticket to the show and a letter from the victim. The letter contained a simple greeting and a rundown of the show's program. Gedo was to perform the balloon act, then Uendo was to do his sober glutton routine, and finally Master Tornado was to perform his time sober routine. Got it. Nice. So do we know anything about Uendo yet? I don't think so. So let me just quickly scroll back up. Oops. All right. His junior disciple. Okay, so it's his junior disciple, and there was someone succeeding him. Got it. Oh no, he was succeeding someone named Uendo. Right. Okay. I went straight to Master Tornado's dressing room to say hello. Hold it! And how did Master Tornado appear when you said hello to him?
I went with the intention of greeting him, but ultimately we didn't actually meet.
You didn't see him? Why not?
Gedo escorted me to the dressing room, but we heard the sound of Rakugo being performed from within. Thinking the master was rehearsing, we decided to wait in the hall until he was done.
You heard Rakugo being performed in the dressing room?
Yes, not just me, but Geiru as well.
In other words, you can confirm that the victim was still alive at around 4 p.m.
Correct. I couldn't hear him clearly through the doors, but I'm sure it was Master Tornado. I could tell because it was a time sober routine being performed in there.
So that means the victim was killed sometime after that.
Bucky went into the dressing room thereafter, only to come storming out a while later.
Please tell us in detail how Mr. Wet appeared at the time.
Gedo and I were waiting in the hallway for Master Tornado to finish practicing, when Bucky appeared and entered the dressing room with his things.
What happens after that? What happened after that?
We heard what sounded like Bucky shouting inside the room. About 10 minutes later, Bucky came out of the dressing room looking rather irate.
This is most likely when the murder was committed. The victim was an elderly man. It would have been entirely possible to kill him within the span of 10 minutes. I'd better come up with some kind of counter-argument, and fast.
Master Tornado's junior disciple, Uendo, apparently then entered the room soon after.
What do you mean by apparently? Didn't you see him go in?
No, I couldn't. I wasn't able to see the dressing room door from where I was standing at the time.
Right. Okay.
But Geiru was right in front of it, so I'm sure she saw it all.
I see. And why do you suppose Uendo went to the dressing room anyway?
He had just finished his routine, so he was making a courtesy call. A disciple is to pay their master respect right before and after each performance.
And all disciples are expected to do this?
Yes, it's common courtesy among Rakugo artists.
I see. Could you tell us what happened after Uendo went to the dressing room?
Certainly. That's when Uendo discovered Master Tornado's body.
And how did Uendo act at the time?
After Uendo had been in the dressing room for 2 or 3 minutes, we heard a scream from inside the room, and Uendo came flying out.
Did you hear any signs of a struggle at that time?
No, just Uendo's woeful scream.
I see. Okay. Got some info there.
Well done, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your testimony has given us quite a glimpse into the sequence of events.
Thank you, Prosecutor Blackwell. And now, please allow me to summarize your testimony. While Prosecutor Blackwell and Gadu were in the hallway waiting for Master Tornado, the accused came along and entered the dressing room with some items in tow. He was heard shouting for a time inside the dressing room, and about 10 minutes later, he came out of the room seeming rather angry. A short time after the accused had come and gone, Uendo Tornado went into the room. A few minutes later, after having discovered the victim's body, Uendo gave a scream and came running out into the hallway from within. The thing is, it says a few minutes after discovering the victim's body. Like, Uendo went in there, waited for a few minutes, and then screamed. Is that not the weirdest thing ever? That's so weird. That's suspicious as heck. Prosecutor Blackwell and Gator then ran into the room and saw the body for themselves. From the circumstances, it is quite clear that the accused murdered the victim.
This is crucial testimony indeed.
Okay, but that's very weird. Defense. An eyewitness has given conclusive testimony. Why not let it go now and allow the victim his last rites? Not on your life. If Uendo went into the dressing room too and was the first to discover the body, then who's to say he didn't commit the crime? Uendo was in the dressing room for a mere 2, perhaps 3 minutes. He could not have possibly committed murder in that time, nor without making any noise. Oh, Simon, why did you have to give that awful testimony? Prosecutor Blackwell, can't you give me something a little better to work with here?
Isn't it up to you to ask the right questions? I am certainly willing to tell you all that I know. So if you were truly as capable as you claim, then draw out what you need yourself.
This is no time for your twisted games, Prosecutor Blackwell. Just admit you don't remember it all that well. Satara.
Here, when I'm gonna live it.
Prosecutor Blackwell, watching you collude with the defense like this, I see that you are no prosecutor.
Begone, witness. You shall haunt this sacred hall no more. How dare you treat me like some evil spirit to be exorcised? I'll remember this, you blackguard.
Wow, kicked him off the stand. Don't worry, Prosecutor Blackwell. I've got this. When I have my way, he would not be the only one here to step down. You half-boiled putrid egg yolk. Ew. I object to the notion that I'm a gooey, smelly mess. Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony was like the lowly opening act of a Rakugo show. He may hold the title of prosecutor, but this time he stood on the side of the defense. To restore balance to this trial, I would like to present an actual witness for the prosecution.
And who is this witness?
The person who was with Prosecutor Blackwell when the body was discovered. Geiru? She is another entertainer of the Tornado School, Miss Geiru Tornado. Okay, I'm curious about who this character is. Ooh, okay. Pen. Oh my goodness. That is not what I expected to see. Please state your name and occupation, witness.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
I'm here to represent the Tornado School with a twisty twist. I'm here. Hello, everyone. I'm here to represent the Tornado School with a twisty twist. I think I'll do that. And balloon! There you have it, a stunning balloon hat. It's me, the balloon artist you all know and love, Gayru Tornado. Just call me Gayru, sweetie. 1, 2, balloon! Oh my goodness. Wow. That not since April, May have we seen a contestant of witness use their breasts.
What a way to capture your audience's attention. I dare say I can't take my eyes off those balloons.
Please tell me you're talking about the hat, Your Honor. Oh, Mr. Judgy, I'm so glad you like my performance. Would you consider joining my fan club? Pretty please.
Oh, absolutely.
And please save your fanboying for after the trial, Your Honor. Anyway, Gator, I can't help but notice you seem awfully cheerful for having just lost your master. Of course I'm sad. But Shisho would scold me if I didn't put on a big smile. Never show sadness. Smile, smile, smile with a twisty twist. And balloon, there you have it. One gorgeous cake. I see. I guess an entertainer's gotta do what an entertainer's gotta do. Her balloon art is worse than a Rorschach test. All I saw was several monsters. Oh my gosh, all I saw was a severed monster head. Monstered head, what's wrong with me? Geru, you're obviously a balloon artist. So how do you come to be a member of the Rakugo school? Well, my father, my late father that is, was a Rakugo artist, you see. So I joined the Tornado School to be just like my daddy someday. I see. My father and I owe so much to Shisho, our master, but that Bucky Wet, ooh, how could he? I want to see him pay for what he's done as quickly as possible.
Your distress is entirely understandable, and my condolences for your loss.
And, not only that, but he... You have more to say about Mr. Wet? Every time he comes to deliver soba to us, he yells at me. He always yells at me to get away. Is there any reason why he would say such a thing to you? He says the smell of my perfume will get onto the soba and ruin it. Like, how can he say that? This is a great scent.
How very rude of him. I don't blame you for being upset.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but please don't let Gato's balloons bias your judgment. Mr. Wet hasn't been proven guilty yet, remember? It will be interesting to see how long that fire of yours will last, defense. Now then, Gayru, please share the truth with this court.
Yes, Gato. Your testimony, please.
Witness testimony. Before the murder was discovered. From 4 p.m. to a little after 4:20 p.m., when Shisho's body was found, Simon and I were standing in the hallway in front of the dressing room. Before Uendo discovered the body, the only person who had gone in there was Bucky. Come to think of it, a little while before Bucky showed up, Jugemu was barking like mad. Prosecutor Blackwell, do you have any objections to this witness's testimony?
No. Make up your bloody mind, sad monk Sadmati. First you exercise me, now this.
You need only do as you were instructed by this humble servant of the Holy Mother. As there are no objections, Your Honor, let us move on to the salvation of the victim's soul. Hey, I'm the defense attorney here, Prosecutor Sadmati, and I just might have an objection or two once I actually cross-examine the witness. So what are you asking Prosecutor Blackwell for? I'm the one you should be checking with. There is a passage in the sacred scriptures of Koreanism.
To stir the wind is beyond the power of a spring chick. In other words, the inexperienced are useless. With that in mind, it seemed more judicious to consult Prosecutor Blackwell.
He doesn't even see you as an adversary, Sykes Dono.
Well, I won't let either one of you insult me. I'll show you I'm no inexperienced spring chick. Your Honor, I'm ready to cross-examine the witness.
I hope you can make Prosecutor Sadbody see you as a worthy adversary, Miss Sykes. I'll allow your cross-examination, so you'd better strike while the iron's hot.
Of course you allow it. Legally, I have to be allowed to cross-examine the witness. It's within my rights. From 4 p.m. to a little after 4:20 p.m. when Shisho's body was found. So the murder must have happened sometime in those 20 minutes, correct? But 20 minutes isn't a lot of time, is it? I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say? That's what happened, you know? Isn't that right, Simon?
Yes, Geru and I can both confirm that Master Tornado still lived at around 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah. You can, can't you? See? Simon and I were standing in the hallway in front of the dressing room. The fact that the two of you were there in the front of the dressing room means you were able to see everyone who went in and out, correct? Of course. Or are you insinuating that I was daydreaming or sleeping while standing up or something? No, of course not. I saw everything, I tell you. Fine, so you say anyway. But did you really? Before Uendo discovered his body, the only person who had gone in there was Bucky. Only the defendant and Uendo entered around the time of the murder. That's right. That's why it must have been Bucky who killed poor Shisho. Let's take a deep breath, okay, Geru? So, not a single other person set foot into the dressing room during that time. I already told you over and over, didn't I? There was nobody else. I must apologize on the lawyer's behalf. Even her memory is that of a spring chick's. Please overlook her transgression as best you can. Oh, I see. Poor thing. Hang in there, sweetie. Hey, who are you calling a bird brain, buddy? Come to think of it, a little while before Bucky showed up, Jigemu was barking like mad. Jigemu? That's my doggy. I keep him at the theater. Let's see. With a twisty twist. And blown, there you have it, my good widow Jigemu. He's kinda creepy looking. Oh, but he's a really, really good boy. And why was Jigemu barking? Do you think it's because he saw someone suspicious? If so, then we'd have a new suspect in this case. Now, why was he barking again? Oh, I remember, because it was time for me to feed him. So I went into his yard and gave him some food. Couldn't somebody have slipped in the dressing room while you were doing that? Nope, the door out of the yard was wide open. I would have seen if anybody went into the dressing room. Prosecutor Blackwell, come down to the stand for a sec, please.
How many times must I do this?
You saw what Geru was talking about, right? So why didn't you mention it before?
I can't be expected to remember every minute detail.
Well, remember them now, please. Did Geru go out into the yard?
Yes, I remember now that she went to feed Jigemu. And I saw her looking toward the dressing room quite frequently as well.
Do you recall anything else?
It looked as though she were feeding the dog a great quantity of dumplings or something. Jigemu couldn't finish them all, so he buried the rest in a corner of the yard. That's about all I can remember.
Okay.
Interesting. Huh. It looks like Geru was telling the truth. Your Honor, I'd like Geru's last statement to add it to her testimony.
As you wish, Defense.
I was in the yard, but the door was wide open so I could keep watch on the dressing room. Alright. Let's see. If the door's wide open, it blocks off the yard. So no. You couldn't have done that. So, you were able to keep an eye on the dressing room while you were out in the yard. Is that correct? That's right. The door out in the yard was wide open. Sorry, but that makes zero sense. Take a look at this diagram of the backstage area. There is a clear contradiction between this diagram and the witness's testimony.
Oh? I'm afraid I don't understand, Miss Sykes. Please point out what contradicts the witness's testimony.
This bit right here. Geru was in the yard near the doghouse. Prosecutor Blackwell even saw her there. And while she was out there, the door to the yard had been left open.
Ah, I see.
Yes, if the door to the yard was wide open, as Geru said, it would have blocked the view, making it impossible for her to see the dressing room. What? No way! But even if there were admittedly a few moments Geru was not keeping watch, how much would that really affect this case? It would greatly affect the case. From the spot Prosecutor Blackwell stood, he couldn't see the dressing room door either. Anyone could have entered the dressing room during that time without being seen. Geru, why did you try to hide the fact that you weren't watching the dressing room? I love how she slams the desk twice. It's something unique about her. Since like everyone else slams the desk once with two hands, she leans forward and goes doo with two hands. That's cool. Anyway, I'm gonna save and I'm gonna end recording here. But normally I do these in 2-hour bits, so I bet I'm just gonna put my next recording session onto this recording session. But it's 2:30 a.m. I'm gonna go to bed. So goodbye. Welcome back to Ace Attorney. Actually, I'm just gonna really quick make sure that my phone is on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Here we go. We're back in Ace Attorney. And we are in the middle of discovering what's going on with the whole murder of Tornado. And Blackwell was there and Geru was there, and Geru has just lied about watching the dressing room. She was like, I was watching the dressing room the whole time, and then we showed her that it's impossible for her to have been watching the dressing room. Geru, why did you try to hide the fact that you weren't watching the dressing room? What? I...
Objection.
Hide the fact? You speak as though you think she had something to do with the murder. Rather than deliberate deception, it was more likely a simple oversight, right, witness? Well, I was so shocked by what happened, I was just confused, that's all. Even though she is trying to keep up a brave front as an entertainer, the truth is that she is being torn apart by grief. For her mind to be in turmoil is hardly unexpected.
Yes, it must have been very difficult indeed.
To a disciple, one's master is akin to a real parent. Surely her shock is immense. The way this lawyer tries to pin the blame on this poor soul at the first opportunity. Huh! All I can say is, defense attorneys are heartless creatures indeed. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. Is it beyond your comprehension, defense? Your unskilled argument is scarring this witness even further. And if we asked the people of this courtroom, I am sure they would agree. What? The gallery doesn't get a say in this? Are you afraid to find out that they think ill of you? Or that perhaps you are in the wrong? Listen to them now with that keen sense of hearing you were so proud of. He's right. That was harsh. She didn't have to go that far.
I feel kind of sorry for the witness.
And why is the lawyer's outfit so yellow? No, I was just trying to find the truth. Why is the whole gallery siding with Prosecutor Saad Mahdi? The people understand. They know what is right and what is wrong. That lawyer's still in training, isn't she?
Why is she all by herself?
I hear the voices of the gallery. I can hear the voices of their hearts. It's so intense. I feel so alone up here, fighting by myself. Are you afraid, child? It is ludicrous to come to trial with such paltry preparation of the soul. I command you to leave this courtroom at once. But I can't give up. I have to keep pressing on. As long as there was a moment when nobody was watching the dressing room door, the defendant can't be convicted solely on the prosecutor Blackwell and Geru's testimony. Even now you would continue to resist. You were childish in defeat as well, I see. I'm not out for the count yet, Buster. I'm just getting started. Despite your posturing, is it not true that your resolve could crumble at any moment? With but a little push, you would surely succumb to despair. A little push such as with this piece of conclusive evidence. Conclusive evidence, huh? That is correct. We found a critical piece of evidence at the scene of the crime. The victim's dying message, which clearly implicates the accused, Bucky Wet. Okay. Look at these Japanese playing cards known as karata, lined up on the table. Karata! I know karata from Chihaya Furu. These special English version karata cards spell out a message. That message, wet number 4. Oh, they're English version karata cards, are they? Wet number 4? You mean wet noodle number 4? Yes, wet noodle number 4, as the 4th head chef of Wet Noodle Soba is also known. This message points to none other than the accused, Betty Wet. No!
That makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Wow, great job, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh no, this is really, really bad. What do I do? What do I do? Would you still carry on your futile fight in the face of this irrefutable evidence? You can say whatever you want, but we won't know until we... It is cruel to give the accused false hope. You will only compound his suffering. Wise people of the courtroom, do you not agree? He's right. It's cruel to make him suffer when there's conclusive evidence.
What an incompetent noob. I feel bad for the victim and the defendant.
I just got a notification that I have to... Did I not? Oh yes, I did. Okay, and I've gotten rid of it. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Okay. What? But I'm trying to prove Mr. Wet's innocence here. I know you can hear them, defense. Their voices implore you to save the accused's soul. It is time for you to let it go and move on, you inexperienced lawyer. You lack the competence for which to accomplish anything meaningful here. Is he right? Is it too much for me to handle on my own?
What good is she doing anybody? She should just quit right now.
Now, defense, leave everything to this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
Silence.
Blackwell. Silence. He's trying to use your keen sense of hearing against you to manipulate the trial, Athena. What a cheap trick for a supposedly holy man.
Simon!
And you fop doodles in the gallery, can't a man watch a trial in peace? This inexperienced amateur is about to turn this trial around.
Oh, so he's our sidekick for this one. Does that prosecutor really think she can turn things around? The mood in this courtroom is starting to change.
Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you doing at the defense's bench? I grew bored of watching from the gallery. Besides, if I were to leave this trial to the spring chick and lose my favorite soba shop in the process, I would be quite cross.
You voluntarily stand on the side of impurity and sin. Truly, what a fool you are.
To think, you were so easily manipulated by his parlor tricks. Whatever happened to qualified and capable Athena?
I just let my guard down a little bit, but it won't happen again.
Then grit up your loins and steel yourself for battle.
I'm not girding up anything in this skirt, but I am ready to get serious. Satara.
It seems there is now yet another soul I must cast down into hell.
I was in prison for a long time, and hell sounds no worse than cell, to be honest.
That's a funny joke.
Ah, but the fires of hell will not be the end of your suffering. For the sin you have just committed, you shall surely be reborn as a panda in your next life. A white and black reverse panda, that is. And you shall be put in a zoo to be exposed to public ridicule.
A threat like that won't work on Prosecutor Blackwell. After all, he's already used to looking like a panda in this life.
Who are you calling a panda?
Sorry.
I see that you are both prepared to face the fires of damnation. Geru, thank you for your service. You may step down now.
Okie dokie. Bye bye, balloon. I feel like she'll be back. Does everything have to be about balloons with her?
Now then. I have a witness prepared to testify about the character cards.
And who is that witness this time?
The first to discover the body, and someone who witnessed the crime scene firsthand. Mr. Uendo Tornado.
Yes, I'm curious about Uendo.
The time has come for that ponytailed pair over there to finally let it all go and move on.
Very well. Let's bring in this witness then.
Alright, Uendo. Start from the feet, pan up. Yep. Oh, wow. Wasn't expecting this.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
I am the Rakugo storyteller Uendo Tornado. I am the Rakugo storyteller Uendo Tornado. I'm just testing a voice.
I am the Rakugo storyteller.
Nope. He looks younger, so I'm gonna give him a higher voice. I am the Rakugo storyteller Uendo Tornado. I think that's a fine voice. Even if my performance isn't worth watching, I will certainly watch my words. I wouldn't want to say anything thoughtless and get arrested. After all, that'd be a Raku no-no. Thank you, everybody. Good night. He's gone. You can't leave yet. You've only just introduced yourself. Oh, my. Are you a fan of mine, miss? Would you like my autograph? One moment. Shh. Oh, that's a pretty cool animation. Ow! What do you think you're doing? No need to stand on ceremony. My fan deserves a fan after all. A fan for a fan. Nice one. Oh, if it isn't Simon. How are you on this fine day, sir? Quite a dilly of a pickle we found ourselves in, wouldn't you say?
I don't believe I've ever seen you talk quite so much, Uendo.
Never performed in a place like this, you know. I got butterflies here, can't you see? Why do I always get the weird ones?
Pardon me, witness. As much as I enjoy your banter, I believe we'd better return to the case at hand.
Ah, I suppose you're right. In that case... I was promoted to Futatsume yesterday and received the stage name of Uendo. This show was our way of celebrating my new name in middle rank standing.
And then that happened.
Oh, he's very feminine with that pose. I never dreamed something like that had happened. Not in a million years. And just as I got my chance to start repaying my debt to Shisho, too. Yeah, plus I'm worried about Geiru. Oh, wow. The way she clung to Shisho, poor thing. I told her to keep a stiff upper lip. Stiff like rigor mortis. Keep telling those lame jokes and Shisho will come scold you from the grave. Didn't he say it? Yeah. Who's he yelling at? I wouldn't mind getting yelled at, you know, if it meant seeing him again. Oh, was that his impression of his master? Uendo, please. As charming as your various characters are, this isn't a Rakugo stage. Let us hear your testimony now, witness. Tell the court about the evidence left at the scene, the proof of the accused's guilt.
Witness testimony.
Shh. Shisho's dying message. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. The stiff cards were right next to the stiff, you see. Hey now, everyone, enough with the silly puns already. Anyway, I got the meaning right away. I knew it must have been talking about Bucky. That was the master's final message, left as he was drowning in soba broth. It's so like Shisho to not write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style.
Well, that was certainly a more entertaining testimony than usual. The variety of characters performed by the witness were absolutely splendid.
But he shouldn't be performing any characters in the first place, Your Honor. And Uendo, the murder weapon hasn't been determined yet. So how can you say that the victim was drowned in soba broth? I just looked down at my jeans because my jeans have made an imprint on my belly, and I don't like it. It's obvious. All you have to do is look at the crime scene. He was found with his face shoved in a bowl. It's only natural to assume he was drowned in the broth for the noodles. Except we're not here to assume things, Uendo, so please just stick to the facts. My, it's so like a soba chef to kill someone this way, wouldn't you say? And with the character message he left behind, it's clear Bucky Wet did it.
Setting aside the issue of the murder weapon for now, that dying message certainly does seem to be irrefutable evidence.
Indeed, it proves the absolute guilt of the accused. Even I've got to admit that I can't see how that message could mean anything else. Bucky used soba for the dead, or to get back the soba shop deed. He's doing a lot of speculation right now, huh? I like how he's on many, many pillows. This testimony makes Mr. Wet look super guilty. I have to do something.
That's his conclusive evidence. What a farce.
What do you mean, Simon?
What's this? I thought you said you weren't planning on asking me for help.
I did, and I won't, thank you very much. Simon must have found an inconsistency in the testimony. I better listen carefully and try to see what he found. Alright, here we go. Cross-examination. Shisho's dying message. I noticed Shisho's dying message right away. Uendo, when you saw the cards on the table, what made you think they were Master Tornado's dying message? Well, it was a coded message right there next to the body. I'm sure anybody who would have thought that they were there to name this killer. I love murder mysteries and often watch them on TV. Oh? I see. I saw a similar scene during a murder mystery marathon last Tuesday. That's what made me think this must be a dying message. The stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, you see. The cards were on the table your master's body was slumped over, right? You must have been surprisingly calm to notice them at the time. As I said, the stiff cards were right there next to the stiff, so they were hard to miss. But wouldn't it have been more natural to notice the victim rather than the cards? The message just caught my eye because the stiff cards were right there next to the stiff. Yes, but the fact hardly seems significant enough to make a person take note of them. Stiff cards next to the stiff. So basically, there was no real reason for them to catch your eye, was there? What's his problem? Hey now, enough with the silly puns already. That's right! I need you to give your testimony, not perform a scene. Please remember you're on the witness stand, not the stage. But look at all these wonderful people in the audience. It's only natural for an entertainer to want them to have some fun. I guess we can let a few jokes slide, right?
The inevitable bleeding of your work into other areas of your life. I know how that is. I find myself being unwittingly judgmental in my personal life too.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Well done, Your Honor. Guess you can't judge a judge by his cover.
I advise the defense not to be so critical of the witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I love the judge. He's such a great character. Much obliged. Anyway, I got the meeting right away. I knew I must have been talking about Bucky. The cards do spell out wet number 4, which could be interpreted as wet noodle number 4, I guess. I suppose you took this to mean Bucky wet? There's only one wet noodle around here, and you've seen that giant 4 on his back. It's the only interpretation that makes sense. Yeah, I guess so. But wait a minute! What is it? What if there's another wet noodle in the area? What? Did I say something strange?
Bucky is the sole heir to the shop, so enough with the ludicrous straw grasping.
Hey, how was I supposed to know?
Just listen to the testimony again and find the glaring inconsistency.
That was the master's final message. Left as he was drowning in sober broth. So the victim lined up those cards in his final moments? How can you be so certain that that's how it went down? I know Shisho. He would never let someone get the last word on him, even in death. With his face in the sober broth and his consciousness fading away, he left a message that pointed toward Bucky as he left this world. It's the only way it could have happened. Wait! The only way? Now you're just speculating. Look, a dying message is something you leave as you're dying, right? I saw a scene like that in a detective show. Uendo, we have a saying in my country, silence is more precious than diamonds. Please do not speak any more than is necessary. But talking is my livelihood, you know? I talk all the time, this and that, truths and untruths. I can't stop myself from talking. Hopefully, he'll stick to the truths without any of those untruths. So, what I'm thinking is that Uendo probably set up the cards, since he loves detective shows. He probably thought like a dying message is elaborate and cool, so let's set up this dying message. It's so like Shisho not to write Bucky's name outright. Plain and simple wasn't his style. But don't you think it's strange? Could a dying person really leave such a convoluted message? Even in the throes of death, it was in Shisho's nature to throw in a twist somehow. Truly the consummate entertainer to the very end, don't you think? Was he really that great of a man, Simon?
It would have been no easy task, to be sure. But who knows? He wasn't an entertainer for 55 years for nothing.
If I ever bite the big one like that, I want to leave a message as good as Shisho's. Well, let's hope it never comes to that. Simon, are all Rakugo artists like this?
It's hard to say. It could simply be the eccentricity of an entertainer, or perhaps he's hiding something.
Well, he doesn't have to entertain people in a court of law. By the way, I love this idle thinking pose, where she's like playing with her earring. That's so adorable. I love it. And if he is trying to hide something, maybe it'll show up as a contradiction or something. Alright, so we've got all of the things. There was no new statements added to the testimony. So, let's give a look at the evidence again. We got the diagram of the backstage and the dressing room. The stage is that way, you come around to the dressing room, and then the yard is there. Yep, got it. Okay. We got the crime scene photos. Okay. Seems all good there. And he is dead and is sober. The victim was making soba noodles from scratch. The room is covered in soba flour. There are 2 drink cans in the fridge. What the heck? Who cares about that? Oh, I see them. Cause of death, suffocation. Nothing was found in his lungs. Okay. Found in the victim's possession. It's the deed for the soba shop. The deed holder is Bucky Wet. Well, if he was trying to get the deed back, why didn't he get the deed back? Why would he just kill him and walk away? Okay. The invitation Simon received from Master Tornado to the show. Can't remember reading his thing. Yep, got it. Confirmed live at 4 p.m. Bucky Wet entered the room at 4:10 and left at 4:20. When it discovered upon entering the room after Bucky left. Before Bucky came to the theater. Yeah. Okay, before Bucky came to the theater, Gary was outside feeding a dog a number of dumplings. The dogs buried the leftovers in the yard. Got it. She shows dying message right away. Stiff cards were next to the stiff. Enough with the silly puns. Meaning right now, I no matter what, it must have been talking about Bucky. That was the master's final message, as he was drowning in sober broth. It's so like she could not to write Bucky's name. Plain and simple wasn't his style. I mean, like I don't know. Drowning in sober broth. I mean, the cause of death was suffocation. I don't know if drowning comes under suffocation. It is technically you suffocating, right? But there was nothing found in his lungs, and I'm assuming that includes, like, not broth. But this is just speculation that he's doing. This isn't part of the testimony, right? So... But otherwise, like... Otherwise, I don't know... I don't know what to do. So I can try this. Okay, it works. I'll take it. There's a contradiction in Ueno's testimony. Uendo? What did I just say? What's his name? Uendo. Yeah, good.
And would you care to explain where, Mr. Sykes?
Yes, a cool screen. Certainly, Your Honor. According to the autopsy report, nothing unusual was found in the victim's lungs.
Yes, it does say that, doesn't it?
But the problem I have with this is, like, this isn't a very good contradiction because, like, this testimony isn't about how they died. This testimony is about the dying message. And the dying message, there were no contradictions there. So, anyway, doesn't matter because I found a contradiction. It's his fault for saying it, so all we have to do is call him out on it so that the judge doesn't get swayed. If he had drowned in a bowl of soba, then there should have been soba broth in his lungs. But since there wasn't any, it means the victim was suffocated with something other than soba broth.
What?
This is a contradiction you noticed, isn't it, Simon?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I guess I showed you.
But if drowning in the soba broth wasn't the cause of death, then when was the victim's face thrust into that bowl?
Typhoid Tornado's face was thrust into the bowl after his murder, I'm assuming. Because no sober broth was discovered in the victim's lungs, his head must have been placed into the bowl after he was killed. That's when the sober broth must have spilled onto the corridor cards. In other words, the victim could not have lined the cards up as he was drowning. Right. Well, actually no, but this is... Huh. It would actually help our case more if the cards were all clean. Because then we could say, well, his face was put in the thing and he died, and then the cards were placed down, so, like, clearly that he didn't do that. But since the broth is covering the cards a bit, then it kind of proves the cards were there, and then his face was shoved in. But we don't know when his face was shoved in. So it could have been like, he died, dying message was put, and then he was shoved in.
I see. So it would have been done after he was already dead. But why would the culprit do such a thing?
I'm afraid I don't know yet.
You boast of psychological expertise, yet you cannot determine such a simple motive? My sides are liable to split at the absurdity.
What? And I suppose you know why?
Of course. Desecrating the body in that manner indicates a strong sense of enmity on the part of the perpetrator.
Yes, that does make sense. It certainly paints a clear picture of the culprit's intense feelings towards the victim.
Feelings of resentment over the theft of the sober shop seed, no doubt.
Just great. Now the judge has an even more unfavorable impression of Bucky.
Silence.
Must you come undone at every juncture? If the culprit had time enough to set up Master Tornado's body, do you think they would have honestly failed to notice a dying message?
Good point. The cards were right in front of his body, after all. Rationally speaking, there's no way the culprit could have missed that, huh?
Ah, but was the accused rational at the time, given the way he stormed out of that room?
Silence.
Never mind that. I have something more important to ask Owendo.
Me?
You saw the character cards firsthand, did you not? Would you care to tell us about them in a bit more detail? Those tiny crime scene photos show us precious little of what I wish to know.
Well, those cards are from Shisho's special Soba Scenes of Tokyo Past set. Each card is related in some way to Soba.
Spare me the history lesson. Just tell me how the card looked at the scene and no more.
Well, there was Soba broth spilled all over them.
That's not much help, I'm afraid. Prosecutor Sadmati, do you have a photo that shows the cards more clearly?
I do. Please accept this meager offering, Your Honor.
Okay. Wavy Hound, equipment, traditional, nostalgic. Ouch, 4.
Oh my, what delightful looking cards.
So, Wavy Hound, equipment, traditional, nostalgia, ouch, 4. And then that says, 4 says, that says Zaru Soba? Zaru Soba. On the 4 card. Okay. Okay, so yeah, and then it says wet, no 4. Wet, no 4. I wonder what else it could have meant. Or maybe you can rearrange it to mean something else? Okay, well, let's keep going.
Well. Tearing Prosecutor Sad Monk's conclusive evidence apart should be a breeze with this.
Huh?
Don't tell me you haven't noticed.
Don't be silly. Of course I have. Not noticed anything, but I can't exactly say that now, can I? Character cards added to the court record. Well, there is like one card missing. like, it looks like it was a 4 and a 4, you know? A 4 and a 3, so...
Miss Sykes, do you really see a problem with the prosecution's claim about these cards?
Well, go on then.
Alright, it's do or die. All I have to do is study the picture and... These cards... Now, my theory is that they were rearranged. But from what? I don't know. Oh, hang on. Let's look at it and see if the, like, spill patterns match up. They don't. Oh. Wait. They don't match up. The spill patterns. Oh, they were rearranged. These cards were rearranged.
But how can you tell?
Please take a good look at these cards, Your Honor. The answer's right in front of us.
Where exactly should we be looking, Miss Sykes?
The sober broth stains. Please focus your attention on the sober broth stains on these cards. The outline of these stains don't match up with the larger stain on the table.
Oh, would you look at that? You're absolutely right. And?
Please recall that the sober broth was spilled and got on the cards after the murder, when the victim's face was placed in the bowl.
Yes, go on.
By the stains, we can see that the culprit deliberately rearranged the cards after that. In other words, the message was altered in order to pin the crime on my client.
What? Then, if we put the cards back in their original positions?
We can restore the evidence and see who the cards were really pointing towards.
That's true.
Polkun. Oh, he didn't even realize. Wow. Then what are we waiting for? Let's do this. All I have to do is rearrange the cards so that the stains match up. Oh, do I get to do it? Oh, interesting. Let's see. Where was this W card originally? Oh, this is fun. Okay, that has to be here. Bam. Perfect. Okay, the H card is next. Let's see. Where was the H card originally? Well, that would have been here. Yes. Now the E card. Let's see. Where was the E card originally? Well, that one was definitely up here. A perfect match. Next is the T card. Let's see. The T card was originally this one right here. Great, that fits right there. Now the N card. Let's see. Where was the N card originally? Here. Now the O. Let's see. Where was the O card originally? The O card was originally here. Owen 4th. Last card is 4. Let's see. Where is this? Okay, well, it could have filled this one in for me. Could have done that, you know, saved me a bit of time, but... Owen 4th. What's Owen 4th? So the message, wet number 4, was originally supposed to say, Owen 4th. And this original message is our clue to the identity of the true culprit.
What?
That indignant look on Prosecutor Sad Monk's face is positively priceless. This is absurd.
Wow. So it was originally Owen 4th? It wasn't wet number 4?
Maybe the lawyer's smarter than we thought. Order in the court. Well, I never would have imagined that there was more to these cards than meets the eye.
Character cards updated in the court record. Owen 4th.
So, now that that's settled, what does Owen 4th mean?
I don't know. Wait, am I?
Who else do you suppose is to provide an explanation? Of course it's you.
But I hadn't thought that far yet.
Change the cards around all you'd like, but if you cannot explain what the message means,
then it is as worthless as you are, defense. Not really, because all we were doing was debunking your thing. So all we're saying is that the culprit made it look like it was our client. Why would our client make it look like it's our client? That doesn't make sense. So now you have to prove it. No! Of course, this game has never been about, like, consistency and burden of proof. So the spring chick that fancies itself a graceful swan is brought back down to earth. I have to do something, but what?
Still your thoughts for a second. There's a perfectly good witness to question over there.
Oh, right. That's a good idea. Come on, Athena. Get a hold of yourself. Uendo, does the phrase own forth mean anything to you? No? There's no one named Owen in the Tornado family or our circle of friends. Go ahead. Ask anybody you'd like. Unless Uendo's name is Owen. But, more doubt it. You can't be serious. Having rummaged through your empty mind, I see you have, as expected, turned up nothing.
Silence.
Unless the dog's name is Owen? No, what's the dog's name? The dog has a name that we've seen.
I'm afraid I have no idea who the devil Owen Forth is either. But the fact remains that the cards were rearranged to pin the blame on Mr. Wet.
Thank you, Blackwell. Thank you.
That in itself proves that the defendant isn't the real culprit.
You are smarter than any defense lawyer that's in this game. Prosecutor Blackwell is right. I love her double slam on the desk. It's so cool. Besides, the important question here is not who does the message point to, but rather, who rearranged the cards?
Why didn't you point that out earlier if you already knew?
Sorry. In any case, there were two opportunities for someone to rearrange the cards. The first was when Mr. Wet entered the dressing room, and the second was when Uendo discovered the body. Are you accusing me of rearranging the cards? Me, who came to testify out of the goodness of my heart?
Well, you didn't exactly come running out screaming straight away, did you? Even a mere 2 or 3 minutes is more than enough time to get up to some devilry. So what exactly were you doing in there, Uendo?
I love Blackwell as a defense attorney.
Put down the tea and spit out your answer.
Mr. Prosecutor, what is the guy supposed to do at a time like this? Alright, I'm gonna save it here, so that I don't get too far into the case and get to the next testimony or whatever. Oh, I'm excited. Alright, next episode.